excited because today we're going to be talking about 3 ways that you can shift a conversation. I don't know about you, but I've been having lots of conversations. Many of them are on the computer or over the phone. And so when we talk about communication, there's lots of ways that it can get messed up pretty quickly. It happens. You say one thing, someone else hears something else. You think something and then you say it out of your mouth. How it comes out of your mouth can be good, but sometimes it's all jumbled up. Or if you're someone that is able to speak, you want to speak and think at the same time, sometimes you might be saying things and almost thinking your way through your thought, and then there are other people going, oh, could you just get to the point? And they're not listening, so they're missing some of the information. So today we're going to talk about the 3 ways that you can shift any conversation to help you be a better communicator and feel better about it. This is if you're doing it at home, if you're doing it virtually, maybe even you're talking to yourself. I do that sometimes, and it's okay. It's actually a really good thing. We talk to ourselves more than we talk to anyone else. So before we get started, if you're watching live, hashtag live in the comments below. And if you're watching on the replay, you can post replay below as well. I cannot see if you are commenting or if you have questions, but this is our time together. You all know this if you've been in the group for a while. If you're new to the group, this is the time where we get what we need. This is like teaching time. I need this for the rest of the week to get you moving forward. So ask questions. I will definitely answer them after the video is posted, and I will message you directly. Also, comment below, free, that's right, this word right here, free, if you want your free session with me. Now more than ever, stress, anxiety, lack of clarity are things that people are needing. It's like, oh, I gotta have something. So get your free session so that you have a chance to get free, get clear, to get that smile back on your face, to be able to rest well without being awake at night, and to use this time while it may feel like you're not moving forward, you are, and this is a great time to continue to work towards your personal and professional goals. So type free in the comments if you want me to contact you about your training, your free session, your free trial coaching session. All right, let's get to the training. So 3 ways to shift any conversation. This is right, 3 ways to shift conversation. Okay, that's what we're talking about here today. 3 ways. The first way is to ask a question. Have you ever been, and I'm writing this whole thing out because I said it, ask a question, and also for those that are listening or that are only watching, they'll be able to see it and hear it and have some information for them. So you're going to ask a question. Why do you want to ask a question? It's because when someone is putting information out there, or if you're in a conversation, whether the question is about what they're talking about or not, it doesn't matter. We need to ask questions because it shifts our brain into thinking something different. So often we get into a pattern of thinking where we almost say the same things over and over. We've talked about it before. About 90% of what we think is something that's already repeated. It's like a soundtrack that is in your head. Kind of like around the holidays when you get the Christmas song stuck in your head in a loop, and a loop, and a loop, and you sing Jingle Bells 500,000 times and you don't even know it, or you're humming it while you're washing dishes. The same is true when we are talking and we're listening. So when we stop and ask a question, it shocks our brain into paying attention. You can try this if you have children. Doesn't matter if they're babies, young, toddler age, all the way up to teens, tweens, 20s, 30s. If you're in a conversation with someone and it feels like to you or to them that perhaps they're confused, ask a question. What color is the sky? What do you mean by that? Those 2 questions are very different. What color is the sky can have nothing to do with what you're talking about, but it gives them a chance to think. And just like what happened to me, my eyes went up and they went to my right. That means I'm recalling. I have to stop and think about it. Eyes up and to the right means that you're recalling. If you're watching the video, so it's going to be backwards, but you can even feel yourself doing it. If someone asks you a question, what did you have for lunch yesterday? I hope it was good. I could hear you and feel you thinking, what did I have for lunch yesterday? I'm thinking, yeah, I had a bagel with cream cheese. Actually, it was an everything bagel with veggie cream cheese. Those two things don't always go together, but I love them. So good. So the first thing you want to do, ask a question. All right, number 2. The next thing you want to do, when you're in a conversation with someone and they are saying something and you're like, I don't agree, and you get in your head, you go from actually being in the room or listening on the virtual call, I'm looking at my computer over there, right? Like you go from I'm paying attention to you go in your head. You actually start thinking, nope, I don't agree, and here's why. And you actually start talking to them in your head versus talking out loud. Take a deep breath and say this. Yes, and this is why this doesn't work. Or I do not agree, here's why. Okay? Why is this important? Because the person that's saying whatever they're saying, whether they are completely wrong or they are a little right or somewhere in between, they think they're right, or at least they're trying to get your attention because they're speaking, they're putting energy into it. And when we say things like, no, but, we immediately shut people down. So don't say those things. Immediately shut things down. So you want to be careful with your no's and your buts. There are absolutely certain times when you need to say no. There are other times when it's yes and ... If there's even a little piece of what they're saying that you can agree to, or that you're like, that's not totally right? Sometimes people give facts and figures, pieces of them are right, other parts of them are not. You can say, yes, and let me clarify because these numbers here mean this. You can also do things like, hey, yeah, I hear you, right? Yeah, I hear what you're saying. However, instead of but, you bridge them together. When we say things like, you're so great, this is everything you've given me so far, this information is good, but I don't think that you did this, that, and the other person goes in their brain to everything you said. Everything that might have been good, a compliment, etc., they're like, you just gave me the but. Literally. You gave me the but, and that means it literally is like you mentally turning your back to everything that they just said. So that's why you want to say yes and. And when you say no, you want your no, if your no is a no, like no, we're not moving forward, here's why, and you've already decided and announced, and you are the highest person in the room on the virtual call, you're the matriarch in the family, you're the final decision maker, then your no is a no. Use it that way. You can't use your no as a no, I'm not now, and then later it's a yes. Very confusing, and it doesn't help conversations move forward, and that's what you want to be as a great communicator, especially now in times of COVID-19 when there's lots of virtual meetings happening, lots of videos, things like that. It's hard sometimes to pick up on what other people are saying because you're not in the room, you can't feel their energy, or maybe their body language because they've been sitting all day is giving you some feelings like they're not really involved or caring. So that's why being a better communicator is critical. The last thing to shift any conversation, number 3, is to communicate with yourself first. So communicate with yourself first. I'm going to put that in all caps at the end of the board. First. So when you're in a conversation and you're ready to start speaking, communicate with yourself around your intentions. We've talked about this a lot, so I'm just going to put it over here on the side. It's probably one of my favorite words, intentions. What are you trying to say? What is the purpose of you speaking? What is the outcome that you want? Be sure that you know your intention. If your intention is to win and to be right, then you will act that way, you will speak that way, and you will use words that help you get that outcome. If your intention is to be heard and to help move things forward, then you'll speak that way, you will communicate that way. Whatever you think, even if you're conscious of it or even subconscious, I want to feel safe in this conversation and I don't, so I'm actually not going to say anything. I just want it to end. And you can even see me, I kind of backed up away from the camera. That's what can be happening. So when you're communicating, you want to make sure that you understand your intentions and speak to yourself first. What is it that I want to accomplish? Why am I even in this conversation? And then you're back to asking a question. If you find yourself in a conversation where it's like, why am I even here? That's probably time to end it. This has been great, or this has been an experience, because sometimes it's not a great conversation. This has been an experience. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later. Great way to end a conversation. I do that quite often. Or I'll be like, thank you so much. I understand exactly what I need to. I don't think we need to move forward in this conversation. I'm good. Or I'll say things like, we don't have to go further. Those two things. Because in my mind, I'm like, yes, I have gotten everything I need from this conversation. I don't want to move forward, so let's just end it here. Your intentions help you communicate in a way that actually helps you shift conversations, to feel good about them, to know that you aren't in any way being deceitful or feeling like, oh God, I have to just stay here even though I don't want to. And you won't waste other people's time, and they won't waste your time. So these are the 3 ways to shift any conversation. Ask yourself a question. Use the yes and. The yes and keeps the possibilities open. Avoid using no's and buts unless they are firm and you need them. And then continue to communicate with yourself first, because how you perceive a conversation is how it will be and how you'll communicate. Let me know if you have any questions. I will answer them below. Thank you all for being on. Have an awesome, awesome Wednesday. And remember, if you want your free trial coaching session to unblock yourself, get over limiting beliefs, get moving forward, comment free below. I will contact you. Have an awesome day. Bye, guys.